Look, man, no hands. So it's going under trees right now, and you can tell by the green light that it has GPS signal still, even underneath these trees. There was a split second where the light had turned color to indicate the loss of GPS, but in the loss of GPS, it continues to use compass coordinates and accelerometer and gyroscope to navigate, so it stayed on a pretty good straight line. It's heading to waypoint, I don't know, like 8 or 9 right now, which is right underneath these next set of trees in front of the house. You'll notice once it gets closer to the trees, it's going to execute a turn and come back along the next line for mowing. So here's the turn. It's doing the tight turn. I can make it even tighter. I can make it more of a skid turn, but or a skid turn. And now it's going to try to line up to the next line, which is going to be a little further out. And it's going to start following that next line back down from where it came, which is about 297 feet towards the road. I programmed it so the lines are really close to each other, assuming a chassis that's got a cutting blade of about 22 inches. I did a considerable amount of overlap. So by looking at the line right now, I can kind of tell that maybe the overlap's too much, even for a small, tiny little robot. It almost looks like the lines are on top of each other right now. Maybe offset by 12 inches, which is probably kind of tight if you really put this on a robot or a mower chassis. You'll notice that you'll hear a bunch of motor noises, like it's struggling. But really what that is the speed controller inside changing the frequency of each of the individual motors to try to straighten out the course. So it makes a lot of noise doing that. It's not just freewheeling forward, but it's making hundreds of little adjustments to keep it on course as best as it knows how. Well, that still yields a kind of a curvy path because it's kind of guesstimating where it needs to go, but the bumps in the grass are leading it in opposite directions at times. So it kind of overcorrects sometimes it undercorrects, and it just keeps correcting. At the end of the day, it makes a pretty decent straight line. Probably not a whole lot different than what I would do as I struggle with the lawnmower over these bumps. So, we'll see. So if you look at this closer, the two antennae on the back are telemetry antennas going to the main computer. It's giving it its flight plan and monitoring and giving computer HUD. And then on top, that black disc is the GPS system. There are also two battery packs in here, one in the front of the rover and one in the back of the rover. The one in the back is for the motors themselves, and the one in front is for the guidance system. So they're independent powered. And we're gonna watch this until it gets to the front of the lawn, and it's gonna execute another turn. I don't let it get too close to the road. I mean, it's close enough to be scary. there isn't a fail-safe system yet, or an artificial fence or a geofence of some sort to prevent it from going into the road other than its waypoints that it's been given. So I'm going to develop some kind of either put up a radio fence, some kind of wired fence or something that a secondary system will enable a fail-safe if it gets too close to prevent it from, getting onto the road if something goes wrong with the navigation system or the control system. Something that will probably kill the power entirely if it triggers, just in case there's some kind of failure. So it's got some big bumps it just corrected from going over. There's some potholes in this lawn, and it's trying to find its way as it struggles through those potholes. It did refine its line again, but it'll have lots of struggles as it goes closer to the road. There's a lot of, you can just tell by the bouncing of the rubber. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but so we're getting closer to the road here. We still have probably about 30 feet to go. I'm not exactly sure where the waypoint is. I know it's pretty in line with these bushes over here and the telephone wires above. It's kind of where I set it on the satellite maps. Right now it's only 40 centimeters accurate. So it'll probably turn well before telephone lines in the bushes, so we'll see here. Also, each of the waypoints has a radius, so here we go. There's it's executing its waypoint turn. It's gonna overshoot the turn a little bit, and it's gonna get back onto its line again by correcting itself. Not unlike how I do it on the mower, actually. And now it's back on the line again. And it's going back from which it came. Back that way. I don't know if you can see the lines in the grass, but not real straight. It's right around here where it starts hitting the bumps. Kind of not good. But up there where it's a little more even, the lines are pretty straight. It's kind of hard to tell with there's currently real mower lines, but I'm kind of using them as guidelines to see how curvy this thing is. But that's the mower. Ciao.